What's up, fellas? We just passed the Wildcard weekend. Next week we got the divisional games. It's going to be a very important game. A lot is up for stakes, especially the Cowboys. I see Tim's, a little anxious, maybe a little scared, but he's hanging there. Remember that, Tim? Remember that? We got Fogman back again. He finally got up the bathroom, changed his sound. At least it wasn't, the Philadelphia prison jail cell. At least it wasn't.
Well, they did away with that, so it was just a bathroom, no prison cell. But I tell you what, that toilet paper was gold. I told Timmy you should have followed my picks, man. 4-0 this week.
I risked a little bit. I risked it.
Again, we got Josh with us and Dula with us. It's a great show, guys. We're stepping in with the first down. We're talking about the losers of the wild card. Pip, you know what to do.
Yeah, man. It was a crazy wild card weekend. We start with the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins lost against the Houston Texans. Against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, they got embarrassed. They had a couple of shots to try to turn over the momentum, but Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown they went ham in that game. The crazy part is, for what Miami Dolphins could do in the offseason to repeat in the playoffs. Here's the problem: I'm not even sure if Tannehill had played healthy, was he the better quarterback than Matt Moore? And that's just my opinion. They have a running game, they have a receiving game. Remember, Tannehill, he struggles during the season. Matt Moore just really only had a couple of games to rep, but I'm not even sure if Tannehill would have played a better game than Matt Moore, just in my opinion. To me, for the Miami Dolphins for next year, they just got to make sure. Normally, when a new coach comes in, they get their own type of quarterback. And people were saying that last season, they was going to give Tannehill maybe one more shot before they try to attempt to trade him or something. My thing is to get Tannehill better for next season. I don't see what's really wrong with Miami. They got some good players on the team, especially on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, Tim, do you want to go through all four teams? Because that's what I was going to do in my segment, go through all four, what they need to do, and then let Dula and Fox rock the mic.
Oh, we can do that. I go with the Oakland Raiders. Listen, David Carr, that's it. David Carr would have played. I think the Raiders would have won. It was bad. McGloin was hurt with his shoulder, so he couldn't even come in and save Connor Cook. It was just bad. And, it didn't even help that the receivers like Crabtree was dropping passes as well. Bad. David Carr, he just need to be healthy next season. For the Detroit Lions, I picked the Lions to win. And here's the thing. I went on matchup, completely just matchup. And I still think if Detroit would have played, they could have beaten Seattle. But first of all, the referees in Seattle, how much did Russell Wilson Seattle gave you? Because my God, that first touchdown by Paul Richardson, don't get me wrong, it was a nice one, but no face mask. And then you got to dare at halftime to say, I apologize, we got it wrong. No team wants to hear that. But you gave a free point. The other thing is, Zenner didn't play a bad game. The running back. He had a pretty decent game. He was running the ball pretty good. The problem is no other receiver was really getting open. There was a lot of questionable penalties. For Detroit to get better next year, listen, they got a good receiving core. They have a pretty good offensive line, in my opinion. It wasn't like Stafford was running for his life. Zenner looked pretty good running the ball. He's not Adrian Peterson, but he was running the ball. This defense, that's about it. I just think somebody can go on the opposite side of answer. And that's pretty much it. The secondary, okay, Paul Richardson with that one-handed, they let that one go. My last team. And before I say my last team, about the New York Giants, there's a special someone who's not here with us today, James Cooper. Right now, he's handling some New York Giant business. He's on a yacht right now. He's wearing some Uggs, and he's trying to just chill out for a minute because of the playoff. And James Cooper, I want to apologize to you, brother, because you was absolutely right about the defense. I was the main one who said the Giants were stupid for giving Jack Powell that money, Oliver Vernon that money, David Harrison, and not for nothing though. The Giants, brutal. They gave it to the Green Bay Packers. They lost the game, but they really gave it to them. And that defense was a playoff defense. And my thing with the New York Giants, for them to get better, I'm not even looking at offense. I'm not looking at defense. I'm looking at one thing they haven't had. And to me, that's leadership. That's the main thing, and everybody wanted to compare to 2007. The difference between 2007 and this year was that 2007 they had leadership. They didn't have the leadership now. Eli Manning is not a vocal leader. Somebody needs to step up and be that vocal leader and put players in a place whenever time they come out of line.
All right, yeah, I'm going to start off with the Dolphins, and what I think their top needs are right now is an edge rusher, O-line, and a tight end. A lot of people might, look at me weird with the edge rusher, but, they had 39 sacks. But when you look at it in deeper, you see that Wake and Sue accounted for 40% of those sacks, and 3 DEs are going to hit the free agency this year. So they're going to look for depth, and, they have the uncertainty of Mario Williams, so we don't know where that's going to go. For the O-line, shout out Dula with Laramie Tunzel. He might be moving to left tackle with Brandon Albert being a potential cap casualty. So they might be spenders in free agency for the O-line or grabbing some depth for Tannehill in the 3rd round at the very least. They need to help that guy out. At tight end, Jordan Cameron's been virtually non-existent in Miami. His contract with the Dolphins is expiring. The more targets for Tannehill at this point, the better for the organization going forward. He needs all the help he can get. So I could see Miami personally seeing go like Dula stated. O.J. Howard might be a late tight end in the 1st, or they could wait on someone like Jake Butt in later rounds. For the Raiders, I think they need to upgrade their secondary, linebackers, yes, and running back position. The linebacker might be another head scratcher for some, as most off the bat will just list the presence of Khalil Mack and Irvin, but what they really need are some off the ball linebackers with speed. Malcolm Smith is a free agent this year, and if they have another linebacker that's versatile like that, it could really mask some of the secondary what am I trying to say, negativities, and it could, playing alongside Matt could really make that Raiders front 7 even more scary. And the cornerback position had some injuries, could upgrade the opposite of David Amerson. Hayden's a free agent. They're going to look to replenish that position, and Sean Smith's contract allows Oakland to move on after 1 year, so he might actually see the door after the way he played, not too well. And now with the running back position, Murray's a free agent. The Raiders are going to look to upgrade the running back position as it is. Although the depth behind him wasn't too bad, they were nothing spectacular behind that really good O-line there. So they need to look for something, especially with the deep class of quality backs. Now the Lions, I think they just need to look at the cornerback, linebacker, and O-line. Now, the cornerback, Slay got an extension, but he's only one guy, and you can't really trust Lawson and Jonathan Banks. And you could see the Lions go for one in the 1st round, I think. For the linebackers, you got Tahir Whitehead, but he's doing the best he can out there. It's so thin they brought back Josh Bynes. And then they even brought in Laurinaitis around Christmas time. So they're going to look for depth in that category. It's critical for Detroit. And then the O-lines are going to lose possibly Riley Rife to free agency. They'll need a right tackle. Warford needs to be re-signed so they could use a new right guard as well. Now the Giants, everyone knows Eli turned 36. He won't be in the NFL too much longer. They certainly need to extend his career by protecting the number of hits he takes, especially from the blind side. So Newhouse and Beatty, free agents. Anyone with eyes can see Flowers is better equipped at right tackle than he is at LT. He's an absolute liability. So I'll look for the Giants to make a move in free agency for a veteran tackle or even drafting one as well. Middle linebacker, Kelvin Shepard was supposed to be a nice recruit for us, but he had 105 tackles with the Dolphins at 15, but he had less than half of that with 50 this year, despite not missing a game. He'll be a free agent this year, and rookie B.J. Goodson has yet to impress. So I've been reading on the name of Anthony Walker Jr. of Northwestern. He supposedly excels in the 4-3 defense at middle linebacker and appears ready to contribute immediately. So, and then the running back position, Jennings has been lackluster behind the O-line, and Paul Perkins has shown more success in playmaking ability, even acquiring yardage behind the same O-line. So Rainey Darkwa, and despite being on the IR, Whitlock will be on the free agency. So there's no way the Giants should even think about retaining Rainey with the way he showed in the wild card. And Jennings needs to be thought of more of a third down back, I see, or more of a reliever. But it's time for the Giants to find like a nice back to be a tandem with Paul Perkins and still more youth in the backfield.
Well, that was a mouthful. No, very good. I mean, in all seriousness, though, We'll start with the Raiders. I think out of all the teams, if they had their quarterback, they would have won that game. Granted, you can't sleep on the Texans, but the Raiders were clearly the better team with Carr in. They could. I think that's a team who's going to be looking to make some minor, additions in free agency. I think the beauty is all four teams are in good shape cap wise. When I say good shape, we're talking 30 million plus each team, to work with. I think the Raiders could use another defensive tackle. I mean, they have Dan Williams, but Stacey McGee doesn't really inspire much. They could use a little more depth at corner, but outside of that, it's a pretty good young team to build on, and they'll definitely be back next year. I know that much. Raiders, the G-Men. Oh man, Giants. I feel bad for the Giants. I think I feel bad for the Giants because they took a big step forward on defense, and at best they stayed the same on offense. At best, in fact, some would say that maybe they regressed a little. I recall someone saying, "Oh, Eli's gonna have a career year, cough cough Cooper in this system, third year." He didn't. It wasn't terrible, but he didn't. Eric Flowers is an abomination at left tackle. You should probably move him to right tackle or guard. I know you don't want to because you picked the guy number 9, and you typically don't want to pick guards that high. Or better yet, you don't want to pick guys that you call left tackles and then turn them into guards. That's kind of a sign of failure. But listen, if he can contribute at guard, which I think he could, it's much better than leaving him out there, getting him embarrassed and getting Eli hurt potentially. I think also they could, look at another running back. I think Christian McCaffrey at the end of the first round towards the end of the first round may be a good look for them. Leonard Fournette may fall that far. You never know with these running backs. A few options, and I think the last thing to look for is they'll look for some sort of depth along the defensive line, whether it's a D tackle that can penetrate or another end. JPP is not a lock to come back, so they may be shopping for a replacement there, or at worst a rotational type of player. The Detroit Lions, my Detroit Lions. I told you that was going to happen. And the reason why it happened is because they're not good on defense. And they're not good on defense because they lack talent across the board on defense. I think they need another corner. I think getting a linebacker who could play in space like Levy was supposed to before he got hurt, that would be good to have. And, your Haloti Ngata is up long in the tooth, and you need someone opposite of Ziggy Ansah. Offensive line, you may lose Reef. You may lose Wofford. Funny enough, we always talk about how Dallas spent – how many first-round picks are on that offensive line for Dallas?
We have 3. Tyron, Martin, and Frederick.
Detroit has 3. Reef, Decker, and Tomlinson. And it's night and day. It hasn't completely worked out yet. I think they may let either Wofford or Reef go and let Glasgow fill in at guard. Tomlinson needs to do something. Otherwise, he may be a bust already. The key here for the Lions is that you have to understand Matt Stafford's in the last year of his contract. And if he repeats what he did this year, you may be talking him making up to $25 million a season. So you want to make sure you have a team in place before you give a guy that much money. Because it's coming. He's going to get paid. Someone's going to overpay. That's just the NFL. The last team, so I'm missing out on Miami. They just need a little more depth on their defense. That's it. Ryan Tannehill surprised me. I thought he was going to be a joke, and he's actually not bad. And I think he'll grow with Adam Gase. They got the receivers, the running back. Tunsil jumps out the left tackle, so they'll be in the market for a guard. But I think they need to just focus on getting some depth, especially in their secondary. As much as we talk about, Brent Grimes, that was actually a loss for them. So getting another corner and another safety might help.
Man, I can't agree more what everybody said. I mean, the facts are the facts. Defense is what wins ball games, and of the 4 teams, 3 of these 4 teams from a defensive efficiency standpoint, they rank below the top 15. Detroit, unfortunately, being the worst. So they got to make improvements there from the defensive aspect. The Giants are the complete opposite. They got to improve from the offensive side. So looking at Miami, besides defense, I think that will come because they got a very good core there. I think they need something from a backup running back standpoint because of Ajayi's health issues. You don't know if this guy's going to stay healthy. You've got to look at the wide receiver position. Losing Rashard Matthews really hurt this team because Devontae Parker did not pan out the way they were hoping he would have panned out. And Matthews, again, had another successful season over in Tennessee. So they need to get another wide receiver to complement Jarvis Landry to enable them to use him in a similar fashion that the Steelers use Antonio Brown. For the Raiders, you guys all said it, Derek Carr. If Carr's there, they win. Flat out. They've got the team. They've got a solid nucleus there, young talent. Defensively, I think they struggled a little bit this year and took some steps back. But I think they can make that up, especially as providing that Carr is healthy. With the Lions, besides getting their defense improved, they need a running back to complement Theo Riddick. This dude is amazing, and he can't carry the load for the Detroit Lions. You need another running back, and I'm not sure if Amir Abdullah is going to be the answer. He had injury issues in Nebraska, and it's just carried over with him going to Detroit. So I don't know if he's going to be the answer, and I really don't know what they have out there that they could look for to bring in to help complement Theo Riddick, but he cannot be the be-all, end-all at the running back position. And then the Giants, we know their flaws. It's all offensive. Defensively, they did a great job. That team gelled much quicker than I thought they would. But from the offensive side of the ball, listen, Eli Manning was Eli Manning. He's not going to get any better, contrary to what James Cooper believed. And you're not going to see, he's not going 40 touchdowns. No, it's not going to happen. He's going to be a 27 to 30 touchdown guy with 15 to 18 interceptions. And that's who Eli is. You're going to have to give this guy a running game in order to be successful. And I don't think the Giants, I don't believe they use Shane Vereen properly this season. I don't think they used his ass at all. But they've got to do something to help Eli out from a running back aspect. And then you guys hit the nail on the head again with the offensive line, especially Eric Flowers. This guy is the fucking James Harden of the NFL. It's just like, I was supposed to block him? Like, really? It's ridiculous. So they really got to help the offensive line, and they got to get the running back situation squared away. But I honestly think that all four of these teams can make the playoffs again next year.
Just to add on real quick, Fog, what you were saying about Eli Manning. It was crazy. You don't never see Eli Manning get vocal as much. But at halftime, I don't know if anybody caught it. Before halftime, he was sacked by Peppers and Clay Matthews at the same time. They both sandwiched them. He pulled Eric Flowers to that middle and told him a handful. Like, yo, my man. And see, and I felt bad for the result that Eli was getting after the game because this game was not his fault.
No, absolutely not.
It was not his fault at all. Some guys didn't step up the way they should have stepped up. No, listen.
Not a big one.
Listen, you can't hold on too long. If you're giving the plays there, you put the plays in there. And, not for nothing, though, with the yacht trip and everything, the Giants didn't lose because they went on a yacht. That's not what happened. They lost on the distractions. That Odell Beckham Jr. is the best receiver in the NFL. Let's put it out there. But he couldn't hold on to distractions. And why? Because of the things he did before the game, running with your shirt off, but then you got a coat on, you're freezing. Listen, just play your game. And Jerry Reese, I believe said it best. He put him in the spotlight. I believe that Odell Beckham Jr. will have a better offseason and be a little bit more, hopefully more mature. If the boss puts you on the spot and tells you you got to get better and mature, I mean, I don't know what else after that. But again, it wasn't Eli Manning's fault.
Well, let me add one thing that we kind of left out. With an exception of Detroit, all three of these teams had not seen the playoffs in quite a while. It's been 5 years for the Giants. It's been well over a decade for the Raiders. It's been close to a decade for the Dolphins, if I'm not mistaken. So Detroit, they were just in it 2 seasons ago. But I think with playoff football, it's experience. The more these guys have been there now. The Giants have been there now. These young guys in Oakland have been there now. They know what it is. It's a different ball game, different set of constraints. And I think, not jumping the next down, I think Dak will learn that next week. I think Zeke will as well. All these younger guys are going to learn it's a different ball game. And going against teams that have been there, Detroit went against a Seattle team that's been there every year the last few years. The Giants went against the Packers, who have been there every year for, the last 10 years now. I mean, it's all experience.
All right, we got to run, guys. We'll be right back in the next down.